guys, Portal Master 9351 here, and in today's video I am going to be talking about some really interesting things that I have found on Toys for Bob's website. So, as you know, about a month and a half ago, back in the very beginning of December, Toys for Bob updated their website with a new homepage and with 3 new job listings. And I made a video talking about how one of those job listings had a line on there that said fluent in French a plus. And I said that that probably hinted towards Toys for Bob working with a team in Quebec known as Beanox, which has helped develop Skylanders in the past. I will leave a link to that video and the end cards of this video, but honestly, that's all the information from there that you really need to know, but there is a little bit more in-depth explanation in that video. Well, it looks like Toys for Bob has once again updated their website. Now, I pointed this out on Twitter last night, and I said that there was some evidence that I found that Toys for Bob may be working on a new Skylanders game that releases this year, and I said I don't want to tell you guys any details because I want to finish doing my research on it. And everyone said that this image right here was what proved that they were working on a new Skylanders game, and that's not it at all. That is so far from what I found. It could not be farther off. So, they have listed on their website at least 5 more jobs. I think they've listed more than that. I think it's more like 7, but honestly, I can't be bothered to do all the math. I did read through all of the job descriptions, at least briefly, and nothing in particular stood out like red flag. But I did a little bit of digging, and I determined that they are looking for software engineers and developers and so on and so forth that can use these 4 programs. Photoshop, Maya, what is the other one? Perforce and Unreal. I don't know why I couldn't think of Perforce for a second there. But anyways, those are the 4 applications that they are looking for developers to use. So, let's do a breakdown of what each one of those pieces of software is. So, Photoshop. That's pretty straightforward. I think everyone here knows what Adobe Photoshop is. It is just an application that allows you to edit photos and graphical elements and stuff like that. Pretty straightforward. A lot of people know how to use that. That's nothing big. So we can go ahead and say, okay, that's probably not important. So, what are the other 3 things? Maya, Perforce, and Unreal. Well, let's talk a little bit about Maya to start with. Maya is a 3D modeling application. I did a lot of research on what these 3 things were last night. So, Maya is a 3D modeling application that can be used for texture mapping and 3D modeling. And it's pretty straightforward, but it's kind of like, okay, so it's an application used for 3D modeling. So what? Why is that important? Well, it is important because I was able to find an article dating back to 2013 during the Swap Force era that stated that Vicarious Visions and Toys for Bob were switching over to use Maya in developing the Skylanders games and doing the 3D modeling for Skylanders. So, they are looking for developers that have experience using Maya, which is something that has been used in Skylanders games in the past. So that's pretty big. That is relatively important. The next thing on there is Perforce. Perforce is this application that lets you do data management. It's a data management application that allows you to save version history and do other forms of data management. It's really complicated to explain, and I'm not sure I fully understand what it does, but it has something to do with data management. Now, I couldn't find any articles or anything stating that Activision and Toys for Bob or whatever uses Perforce in developing Skylanders games, but I was able to find some individual resumes that did support this, and I will talk more about that in a minute as soon as I talk about what Unreal is. Unreal is a game engine that games are based on. So, an engine, for those of you unfamiliar with what that is, an engine is basically the framework on which a game runs. Vicarious Visions in the past has used Alchemy. There's also one called Unity, and then there's Unreal, and then there's numerous other game engines out there that can be used. Toys for Bob, nor Activision, nor Vicarious Visions is currently has a game that is released that runs on Unreal. There is not a single game. To my understanding, none of the Call of Duty games run on that. Destiny runs on its own engine. Skylanders sure as heck does not run on Unreal. And Crash Bandicoot also does not run on Unreal. Unreal is something that has not been used by any Activision property ever. So this is a new engine that they are hiring for, and there are very specific job listings for an Unreal Engine people. All of the job specifications have like what you need to do to get hired for the job, and a lot of them say you need experience with Unreal. So they are working on some kind of a project that uses Unreal. So that doesn't let us know a whole lot, but it does let us know that they are not continuing work on any other project. So now, why is this important? Well, Maya, as I just said, Maya is a program that we know for a fact has been used in Skylander games in the past, but honestly, it is not the biggest thing. That's not that article that I found that conclusively states that Maya has been used in projects before is not the biggest thing. I've Googled Perforce, like I said, and I came up with a ton of resumes for Activision employees, people that used to work at Toys for Bob specifically. And while I'm not going to share any personal details off those resumes, because I actually think there's laws that state you can't like distribute personal information over the internet like that, I can go ahead and reference some of these things without actually giving out names of the people involved. Basically, there are numerous, and when I say numerous, I mean dozens of resumes out there available on the internet from people that used to work at Toys for Bob that worked on Skylanders using Maya and Perforce. These are random people that worked at Toys for Bob that developed Skylanders, so I don't even know why I said random, because it's a very specific set of people that use the applications that they are hiring people for. Now, that's pretty big, because that means that these are people working with similar software to Skylanders, but with an Unreal thing. Now, every single job tagline says that they are looking for people to help them develop the next generation in their history of award-winning console games. Now, a lot of people, when these jobs first came out, were like, oh my gosh, that's directly referencing Skylanders. And while I don't think it is, the whole next generation key is the important bit. They are working on a next generation title here, which means something new, something that's different from anything they've done before, and that is why they are using the Unreal Engine. They want to do something new, something cool, and something that's just, you know, new and next gen. I don't know how many ways I can say that. Skylanders has run on several different engines, and so have other games and stuff like that, but Skylanders has swapped engines a lot of different times. They had a different engine for the first two games, Swap Force ran on a different engine, Trap Team ran on a different engine from Swap Force, and so on and so forth. You get the point. Skylanders has used a lot of different engines over the years, and so that's kind of interesting, because it wouldn't be that far-fetched for Skylanders 7 to run on Unreal if it was a thing. So, where does this, why am I so sure this is Skylanders? Why do I think that this is Skylanders and not something totally different? Well, okay, there's a line in there talking about people need to play the game regularly on the job. When they are developing the code or doing the graphic design, they need to play the game regularly. Well, if a game was just now entering production, which you would think that Toys for Bob would have hired when the game first went into production, but apparently that's not the case, they wouldn't need to play the game regularly. Like, that's the way it works. Skylanders, when they develop the game, they don't just build the game and throw everything in there afterwards. They design all the characters, they design the story, they design the gameplay mechanics before they make the game. Like Overwatch, for instance, they had several characters designed for Overwatch before they even started building the engine in which Overwatch is based. They don't start just by straight up developing the game. They develop the things that surround the game before they start developing the game. So this means that whatever game Toys for Bob is working on is relatively far into production. It is far enough to the point now where it can be play tested. Note, these aren't play testers, so they're not to the point where it's like a finished game yet, but these are people that are going to be playing the game as they develop it, which is important because that means, again, that the game is somewhat far along in development. Now, what does this have to do with it being Skylanders? Well, there are a lot of rumors that Spyro is getting a remake, and Crash Bandicoot also got a remake, and so that's one of the reasons they're saying Spyro is going to get a remake. And I did a whole video on this, I did a whole video on this before, but the thing is, Crash's remake was announced in 2016 during his 20th anniversary. This is Spyro's 20th anniversary. 2018 is Spyro's 20th anniversary. And while there are a lot of rumors that Spyro is getting a remake, if he followed suit in what Crash did, his remake will be announced this year and released next year. And I think we are getting a Spyro remake. I don't know if Toys for Bob is developing it or what year we're going to get it, but I do think it is more likely that it will come out in 2019 as opposed to 2018. But honestly, I don't know. So the thing is, if Spyro's remake doesn't come out this year and they're already hiring up all of these new graphic designers and all of these people to playtest a game, then it can't be Spyro. If it's coming out in 2019, it would not be far enough along in development. Now, if Spyro is released some point this year, yeah, that could be big. But, and this could be for that game. But if it's not released this year and it's released way off, then that means that this is referring to a completely different project than Spyro. It's not referring to Spyro at all. It's referring to something else. And we know that Toys for Bob is working on a project. I mean, it's been confirmed on Twitter that they are working on a currently unannounced project. And actually, one of the resumes that I was looking at stated that he had worked on unannounced Activision projects as well as games in the past. And I'll include a little snippet of that over here so that you guys can see that I'm not making this crap up. I promise to you guys I am not making this up. This is everything I've said up to this point is truth. Toys for Bob is hiring people to graphically design things using Perforce, Maya, Photoshop, and Unreal. What does that mean? It can mean a variety of things, but everything I've said up to this point is 100% truth and 100% fact. They are hiring some people to work on a game that is probably going to release this year. That part is not confirmed. I don't know if it's coming this year or next year, but all I'm saying is it's very likely that if they are hiring this many people that are actually going to be involved in playing the game, it's most likely going to come out this year. And if Spyro is not coming out this year, what else could it be that's built on an Unreal Engine? Y'all, I'm not saying that this is a Skylanders game, but it could be. And if it's not a Skylanders game, then it's likely Spyro. But I think we can say at this point that Toys for Bob is definitively working on a game that will release this year. That's speculation, but I think there is a good chance that we can say that and just have it an accepted fact, because that is what all the signs are pointing to right now. Is it Skylanders? Is it Spyro? Is it something totally different? I don't know. But I think for certain that Toys for Bob is going to be releasing a game this year, and we're going to find out more information on that at their February press conference coming up on the 8th, which is again why that date is so important. But the thing is, what is it? I don't know, y'all. I don't. Could it be Skylanders? I don't know how many ways I can say this. I don't know. But this is something, guys. This is big. Because we know they're working on something. What is it? I don't know, and I'm just repeating myself at this point, so I guess the best thing to do is to just end this and say, what do you guys think? Because this, I think, is big, but I don't know. I think it could be Skylanders, but also it might not be, so I'm just going to say leave down in the comments what you guys think it is, because I don't want to get blamed for creating false hype or anything like that. But Toys for Bob is hiring for a new project that's probably going to come out this year. It might be Skylanders, it might be Spyro, but that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. This has been PortalMaster9351. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Hopefully a little less hyped up, but maybe hyped up. I don't know. I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to stop talking now.